Good morning everyone. I am outside in my backyard right now, and I would like to share with you everything that I have been working on this summer with my garden and all of the vegetables and everything that I have been growing. And so today I would sort of like to take you on a tour of everything that I have been growing in my container garden. And of course, since I'm outside, you might hear lawnmowers, you might hear air conditioning units, birds, all sorts of things, cars, you know, all sorts of outside sounds. Before I start with the tour, I would like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. Skillshare offers a variety of classes on different topics. I have been exploring all of the different classes that they offer, and I have been finding classes on knitting, crocheting, sewing, quilting, hand lettering, language learning. There are so many different topics and so many different classes. I have been interested in learning more about knitting, and what I like about Skillshare is that there are classes at different levels. So there's actually a class hosted by Davina Choi, and she teaches you how to knit in the round, which is something I've really struggled with. To be able to be guided through it would be super helpful, and I'm excited to take that class. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. Again, I would like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so let's just jump right into my very first garden tour. And as you can see, I have plants here right on the patio, and then I have some up on a picnic table as well. My sister Keely was living in the city that we live in for a little while, and she was growing a vegetable garden. And recently she actually just accepted a job at teaching at a college in a different state, so we're so excited for her. She gave me a lot of her plants. Some of these plants you haven't seen yet, and so I will definitely share in detail all of those plants with you. But these ones, with the exception of this one in front, are ones that I've been working on this summer. So this one was another one that Keely gave me, and then all of this is what I've been working on this summer. So let's start over here with the tomatoes. And this was actually a gift from Keely, and actually sort of a gift from Keely and from my mom, because my mom bought the soil for me and the big container to put it in, and then Keely actually bought me the plant. Oh, and you know what? I actually think my mom bought me the tomato cage as well. Unfortunately, I'm really not sure what kind of tomatoes these are. All I can say is that, you know, they are fairly large. Most of them on the plant are fairly large. They have a really sweet, almost, I was telling Sean about it yesterday because he doesn't really love tomatoes. They have almost like a sweet and savory kind of flavor at the same time. Almost even like a little like garlic or onion kind of taste to it. It's really hard to describe, but they're very good. And there are some smaller ones up here. The majority of them are fairly large. And I'm, you know, picking ripe ones every single day. I don't know if you can see, there are 2 back there, and then 1 down lower that's ready. I've really enjoyed the tomatoes. They've been so good. They were the first thing that was ready to be picked. I've just had a lot of fun working with the plant, and as you can see, there is some, I don't know even exactly why it's doing this. Maybe the plant is just getting older. If you can see, there's some damage right here. The plant itself seems fine. As you can see, there are a few spots like that throughout the plant. Those are the tomatoes. So delicious. I'm gonna have to be careful over in this section because there are so many bees. I shared in my Instagram story earlier this week that it seems like the bees have been really leaving my plants alone, unfortunately. And just over the past 2 weeks, it's like they realized that there were these gigantic blossoms here, and so every single morning they've been here sort of flying around, you know, getting all the pollen and everything. I've had a ton of squash blossoms, and it's kind of hard to see in this container because this is actually a 3-tiered container that we planted cucumbers in the bottom, squash in the middle, and then cabbage on top, and everything is just sort of all twisted together now. The squash is mainly in the middle, and I think that we only got 1 squash out of this plant, and it's very small still. We've had so many blossoms, and as you can see, there will be more, you know, starting soon, but unfortunately I think we only got 1 plant out of it, and let me share that with you. But first, look at how beautiful these blossoms are. And in the back, that one is huge. Like, it's crazy. It's like every time new ones pop open, they surprise me with how big they actually are. So I believe that the plant is over here. I believe that the actual squash is growing over here. Where are you? Oh, there it is. Can you see it right there? Right there, I think, is our only squash, unfortunately, but still, it'll be good. But you can see there are going to be so many other blossoms coming up through. We'll have to see if we'll be able to get any more. Really had fun looking at the squash blossoms, you know, and just sort of watching the process of them opening, and then, you know, the bugs coming and crawling around in them, and then, you know, falling off. Lots of leaves, lots of flowers, but only one squash plant. Here's my hand next to this one, and then there's my hand next to this one. So as you can see, very, very large blossoms. I'm sorry, I have to go back and forth because the bees are all over everything right now. I might have chosen the wrong time to film this, but it's just going to be so hot. I wanted to do it when mostly everything was in the shade. So on the top of both of these containers, and I think I shared on my Instagram already, these 3-tiered containers actually came from Aldi. I love them. They were like $12.99, and they just sort of stack on top of each other, and I've just had so much fun with my container garden in these. So as I was saying, on the top of both of these, we planted some cabbage, and I really don't know if the cabbage is doing well. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like it's starting to curl in, but I don't know if at this point it should be farther along. I really don't know. I did have problems for a while with a worm and like eggs and stuff like that from the worms that were killing the plants. They were just eating everything on the plants, on the cabbage. But it looks like it's sort of come back from that pretty well. I think it was this one, and there was a lot of damage, but things look a little better now. As you can see, there is still some damage on it, but definitely better than before. In the middle on this side, we have some peppers, and as you can see here, some really big green peppers. There's one with another little one growing. And then on this side, we have some hot peppers. I'm so excited about those. Look at that. Those look really good. And let's see, these are called Anaheim hot peppers. So I wonder, oh no, it looks like some of them are green. So these might be ready to pull, because if you can see, this one right here is huge. So some of those might be ready to pull soon. And then I have another couple peppers growing back here on the back of this plant. So we have the big one, and then we have 2 little ones, but this one is huge right there. You can see my hand next to it. So yeah, so good. I love green peppers. But then on the bottom we have cucumbers on this side. All of this stuff sort of close to the ground with the little yellow flowers, those are cucumbers. And then over here we have kale, and unfortunately the kale actually was bigger than this for a while, but then the rabbits realized that it was here, and they've just sort of been eating it. I don't really mind, because it's sort of kept them away from everything else, you know, like I love, you know, the green peppers, and I just would rather them eat the kale than eat the green peppers or the squash or something like that. So this kale is a little smaller, but Keely actually gave me some kale, and I've just been keeping it up here on this table, and obviously the rabbits can't get up there. And then over here we have the cucumbers. I've been having a lot of fun with the sticks that I've been putting near the cucumbers, because they reach up and they grab it. As you can see right here, the cucumbers have these little arm type things, and they're really curly, and they'll reach up and grab something and wrap themselves around it. And I've been having a lot of fun watching that process on these sticks that I put in the garden. I just sort of set the sticks near the cucumbers, and they just really did it all on their own, and I've had a lot of fun with that. And as you can see here, we have a little cucumber plant right there. I think I have a few. There's one right there. They're still fairly small, but they seem to be growing pretty quickly. So that's pretty much everything for my vegetable garden, what I started with this year. So at the beginning of the summer, I only had these 3 planters. And then Keely, over the past 2 weeks probably, has given me a ton of stuff. So let me share that with you now. So the first one right here, I really don't know what a lot of this is, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I don't know what any of these things are on the top. As you can see, these have really pretty purple flowers. I don't know what it is. This thing is just a stick sticking out of the dirt. I don't know. I'm wondering if maybe this is a pepper plant. Oh yeah, here we go. Tiny, tiny little pepper plant. So I know what that is. I think that this is some type of kale, or maybe like a lettuce mix maybe. So those are all the plants that I have on the ground right now. And then over here, these are all Keely's plants, but she's given them to us, so we are going to try to keep them alive as best we can. As I said earlier, this is the kale, and I think she might have some type of like lettuce mix, or maybe even like a cauliflower or a Brussels sprout in there. I'm not really sure. And then over here, we have a couple zucchinis. I love zucchini. I could eat zucchini every single day, all day long. And then there's another one over here. That one's doing pretty well. I don't know if it'll get much bigger than that. And she also had some cucumbers. You can see a few right here. Over here, we have some bell peppers as well. This says that these are orange bell peppers. I wonder if they just have to stay on there until they turn orange. One might be starting to turn a little bit of a lighter green color. And then I think this is another bell pepper. I'm not really sure what this stuff is. I think maybe, no, this isn't kale. Maybe this is, I really have no idea. Unfortunately, she bought so many different plants. That's that planter. Unfortunately, I can't tell you anymore. And then she gave me so many herbs. I'm so excited about all of these herbs. I really want to try to figure out a way to keep them and bring them inside in the cool weather, but I'll have to do more research on that and see what I can figure out. So right here, we have some lavender. It smells so good. And then we have sage. This is so soft and like fluffy feeling. I love that. I just think the lavender is so pretty. Then right here we have spearmint. I love fresh mint. It's so good. Then in the middle right here we have rosemary. All of these plants are doing really well. She did a really great job with them. And then my favorite, we have basil right here. So good. I love basil with tomatoes and mozzarella. Maybe I'll have that for lunch today because we have a couple tomatoes from the garden. So this mint was spearmint, and then this mint right here, it says that it's sweet mint. So I'll have to see the difference. I'll have to do like a taste test and see the difference. This one is pineapple sage. That one smells really good too. I've smelled that a few times. This is French tarragon. This is her favorite. She loves the way that smells. And then this is, let's see, lemon verbena. This one smells really good too. So yeah, I love all these herbs. I'm so excited to have them. I definitely just have to figure out a way if I can keep them in the winter, in the fall and the winter and the early spring, but I don't know how. I really don't know. I wonder if these were planted in the ground, would they weather over? Like if we planted them in, like fully planted them in the ground? I don't know, I'll have to look that up. Maybe I can find something on Skillshare to give me some information on if I can do that. All right, I tried to beat the sun as best I could, but it's starting to get a little bright out and starting to get a little hot. So here is the one last look at the garden. I just love it. I'm having so much fun with it this year, and I can't wait to try it again next year. And I mean, there definitely is still quite a bit of time on this garden. It's only late July, so there definitely is still more time to have fun in this garden. And that's all for my very first garden tour. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing everything that I'm growing, and any comments or suggestions on this garden would be super helpful. I'm still brand new to all of this, and I would love your advice and your suggestions. Don't forget to check out my blog at thriftedlivingblog.com. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at thriftedliving, and if you don't have an Instagram but would like to stay up to date with what I'm doing, you can follow me on Facebook at Thrifted Living page. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!